asked me what I spent the most time doing as a kid, I would tell you I watched TV. Some would say too much. Do I agree with them? Well, I can recite almost every word of Ren from Ren and Stimpy's Ice Cream Bar monologue, so you can be the judge. But when it comes to watching TV, especially in the UK, you have a few traditions. One in particular is Wallace and Gromit. Wallace and Gromit, for my American audiences who may not be aware, are a duo of characters, one a dog that can't speak and uses his eyes to emote expression, kinda like Tom and Jerry, and a lovable but dumb-witted owner, Wallace, who is always falling for stupid carnage, and leaving Gromit, a literal canine, to deal with problems head-on that Wallace has caused. And of course, Wallace, because he's a dumb-witted, moron, just takes all the credit for it at the end and doesn't, appreciate Gromit like maybe some of us do. Don't worry, Gromit, I love you, and we see you, bro. Now, the reason these characters are so beloved by many in the UK is simple. Over the years, they've become a Christmas tradition in many households. That's if they make a film. Because a lot of the time, it takes many years to come up with an idea to begin that film. So, over time, really, we've waited like almost 16 years for a new Wallace and Gromit film. Obviously, besides Were Rabbit, because that's on a short film and it doesn't appear on Christmas Day, that was a theatrical release, so we didn't see it over here in the UK on TV, we saw it in the cinema. It will almost always premiere on Christmas Day on the biggest channel in the UK, which is BBC One, meaning all families can watch it as it's included free with a TV license from any cable provider. Now, this is a video about Wallace and Gromit, and I'm not going to go into the TV license, so go away. I don't want to talk to you. No, get out of here. Get out of here. No, leave. Go. Yeah. You may be a scam, but thank you for letting me watch Wallace and Gromit. Still, bugger off. I'm making a video. And so, since it is December, as of writing, why not take a look at the series as a whole? This is a Wallace and Gromit retrospective. Strap in, folks, and don't forget the crackers.
Gromit, we've forgotten the crackers.
We begin in 1958. When a man named Nick Park was born. He is an English filmmaker whose goal was to draw cartoons and make home movies. He was also a keen inventor, creating small inventions and sending them to Blue Peter, like a bottle that dispensed different coloured wool. He studied at Sheffield City Polytechnic, now known as Sheffield Hallam University, taking a course in communication arts, and then attended the National Film and Television School. There, he began sketching a somewhat old man and his canine companion. I think you know who these two are going to be. This is where he started creating a little-known short college film called A Grand Day Out. After a 3-week attachment at L Street Film Studios and seeing how special effects were created, Nick began piecing together ideas for a man who builds a rocket in his basement and flies to the moon to stock up on cheese. At the same time, Nick was developing his short film. Peter Lord and David Sproxton, the founders of Aardman Animations, gave a talk at the National Film School, during which Nick showed them his final year project. He had barely begun shooting, and a paragraph on paper had taken him nearly a year and a half to complete. Pete and Dave took him under their wing and allowed him to use Aardman resources to complete the short film. The rest is history. A Grand Day Out premiered and was transmitted on Channel 4 on Christmas Eve 1990, 6 years after production originally began. The iconic voice of Wallace, the mad scientist in the film, was famously provided by Peter Sallis, a star known for Last of the Summer Wine. A Grand Day Out became a hot topic at dinner talks, friend meetups, and so much more. It stunned audiences with its unique style being completely made in stop motion using plasticine, and dominated the UK hearts and minds for years to come. Now with the long-winded backstory out of the way, let's get on to talking about the actual short film itself. I love A Grand Day Out for its simplistic yet creative vision and scope, which it used perfectly to convey its goals. The out-of-place style, uncommon in 1990, was exactly what it needed and contrasted perfectly with the story. A man who believes the moon is made of cheese and builds a rocket to stock up on it. Stop motion fits this story so much, it's hard to imagine it in a 2D format. Now don't get me wrong, I love the cozy feel of A Grand Day Out and appreciate it for being the catalyst that spawned Wallace and Gromit as icons. But if I had to say, it's probably my least favourite in the series. It's quite boring by today's standards. Not that that's a bad thing. Obviously, as I mentioned before, this was Nick Park's first foray into something like this. I mean, it was his first true foray into something like this. And if he had gone head first, with like some mind-bending or complex, thought-provoking message, he would have fallen flat before he even got his feet off the ground. So in a way, it being boring to modern audiences is a great thing. I enjoy the cozy feel of Wallace and Gromit. A lot of people seem to think it's creepy from when they were kids, a desolate, empty land full of nothing but ambient lights and houses, but I think it adds to the charm of the film, and lets us sink our teeth into it without it being overwhelming for us. I love when they arrive at the moon and the robot, whose true dream is to ski, has a magazine from Earth that shows skiing as an exciting sport. I love when they subvert expectations by making you realise the moon is actually made of cheese. It's a nice cozy adventure that sets us up on a path to something better, and I appreciate it for that. It's also such a nostalgic little romp, as I remember watching it a lot as a kid and just staring for hours, mesmerised by the style of its portrayal. I loved stop motion so much, I tried it myself. I wasn't very good, but, I don't think most people are good at their first, at their first time doing something like that. So, thank you, Nick Park, for this film. Without it, we wouldn't have Wallace and Gromit in the form we have today. And thank you, Aardman, for giving Nick full control of his project and helping him in any way you could. Merry late Christmas and Happy New Year to anyone watching, whenever this is uploaded, and see you for part 2. Well, I'll probably have a lot more to talk about, because trust me, this short film really just does not have a lot. Just doesn't. It just doesn't have a lot in it. And I think that's a good thing, because if your first short film doesn't have a lot, it means you're going to elevate later, and you'll see that in part 2.
Wonderful things, these techno trousers. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wallace and Gromit are back, but a pilfering penguin has a sinister plan for Wallace's latest invention.
Whoa! It's the wrong trousers, Gromit, and they've gone wrong. Help me, Gromit!